Gen Z wants to save the planet, but yeah, these Indian startup desktop people, bro. What all shit you guys do?
I miss TikTok. Bro, look at that line. A CRM designed exclusively for prostitutes like you.
We are going back to the days wherein we would have to negotiate ourselves.
First of all, MyGate is very intrusive. It's the most shittiest piece of tech ever made. It's mandated by my community, by my flat, that I have to use MyGate.
Yeah.
The rule should be that nobody should be allowed to trade from somebody else's Demat account. Wife, father, son, mother. I don't give a Welcome to this week's edition of the Indian Startup Desktop. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
If you're watching us for the first time, please subscribe to our channel below. Alright, let's start off with some funny shit that happened this week. A new startup idea. Pawan, I know you'll love this. Do prostitutes feels like a massive market opportunity. Drip campaigns, high touch follow ups, signal messaging.
OnlyFans wants to know your location.
What the fuck? Fofos.
Bro, look at that line. A CRM designed exclusively for prostitutes like you.
Oh my god.
Dude, this is probably the funniest shit I've read this month, bro. Probably.
LinkedIn is absolute gold. This guy tagged Sundar. Software engineering concepts I don't understand. Kubernetes, blah blah blah. You don't need to know everything to be a software engineer. How the do you talk about a software engineer then? These are basic concepts and not understanding them is not something to brag about. You're a shame and a middle finger to all real engineers who work at Google and any other company for that matter that actually know things. Google Sundar Pichai is this guy saying.
Yeah. Sundar Pichai is only left with this job to reply to this guy now.
Sundar Pichai replied, Hat sale.
Oh,
AI companies ask applicants to not use AI in their job applications. Oh, this is
This
Anthropic
is
word.
this is written by ChatGPT only, bro.
Bro, Anthropic's actually. Claude.
this this is a very similar to what Salesforce did. They hired 2,000 people to sell AI SDRs.
Okay, let's move on. So while Mukesh Ambani went to the Kumbh, all of us took a dip with Reliance in the markets.
This reminds me of that meme where this father is holding one of her kid in the swimming pool, and the other kid is drowning in the pool.
And there is a skeleton sitting in the bottom of the pool like this.
That skeleton is my money, bro.
In this context, I actually have all the three references, but I'll never speak about it because I care about my life.
Here also, I'm just joking, sir. Please don't cancel me. Okay, let's move on to our weekly chatter. So we all know what Namma Yatri did to the travel space in India, but this is crazy to know that Uber is taking a leaf out of Namma Yatri's book, where they eliminate commission fees for auto drivers in India in response to competition from Namma Yatri and Rapido. Saksham, do you want to start off with your take on this?
My biggest problem, I think, which we have also spoken in the past, is we are going back to the days wherein we would have to negotiate ourselves with the auto driver, right? What is the value that a platform essentially is really adding? Either ways, in cities like Bangalore, we know that auto drivers do what they want. These apps have no control on these auto drivers. Coming from outside the state, not knowing the language. Personally, this poses a bigger challenge for me and increases the hurdle for me rather than solving my life. This is a purely outsider view. Maybe Pawan, you have different thoughts.
I feel like this will become a clear leverage for Rapido and Namma Yatri and the other people who are like budding up in this ecosystem. They could have just taken the route what Rapido has taken. Just say it's a SaaS model where drivers will pay us and still have control of this because drivers also like don't want to get into this negotiation. They also want to accept whatever it is.
Not
They
true.
want that leverage of the marketplace.
Not true, Pawan. Just day before
Not
yesterday,
true.
I took an auto from Beladu to Indiranagar, And after dropping, my guy took the route that he wanted, not the Google Maps route. And then he's like, "Sir, I traveled 2 extra kilometers. Now please pay me 50 rupees extra." And I'm like, there is no way your app will update that money basis the distance.
Yeah.
If this is the way Uber is thinking about this, making it a pure SaaS fee, then yeah, I'm not sure if I want to continue using the app.
Same.
Yeah,
Look at this.
that's
We are
what
not
most people will live towards Rapido or Namma Yatri.
Look at this. We are not involved in fare related disputes between riders and drivers, but we are here for safety concerns.
Nothing they can do, bro. They have absolutely zero power. I have been personally harassed and have had friends being harassed by auto drivers so often. Like it's not even funny.
I think this is a problem where there are a lot of unions that get to dictate things. Obviously, unions are good because it looks after the blue collar worker, but using it to strong arm and getting your way is just not like it's not going to be useful for anybody, right? That's just what pisses me off about this. Like while I'm happy that that they're making it driver first platforms, we know the reason why Uber, Ola, or any other ride sharing application did well. But yeah, like Saksham mentioned, we are going back in time.
But look at this, like the other side of it is that initiative, everyone questioned initiatives like ONDC and things like that, right? What they will be going to lead on to. They actually help to bring everyone on the same page or the same platter. Like if ONDC was not there, then Namma Yatri probably wouldn't have been there. The SaaS model wouldn't have come out from there. And this would not have like put Uber into this space where they would stop taking 30% as commissions too. That was a huge amount.
But we are
Yeah,
not saying no to that model, right? We are not saying no to a non-commission based model. All we are saying is that it shouldn't be a direct negotiation between
yeah,
the consumer or and the driver. That's all we are asking.
yep.
Yeah. Hard to run a marketplace, dude. They have to, just like there is a user side of us, there is a driver side also that they have to listen. And building a leverage is hard. I think so. Rapido is doing a fabulous job there, dude. I love using Rapido now. Although my
Yeah.
preferred mode, the first hop that I have in mind is like whenever I want to go somewhere, I open Uber. I love this platform as well, but I think so now it will become Rapido.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
No rate card. So the most intrusive piece of tech, MyGate, has come out with a very relatable and a nice post. Is there a rate card in your gated community for maid, cook, nanny? And all households are expected to adhere to it. We got a feedback to build some solution around this in MyGate. Imagine all companies getting together and creating a rate card for your professional work. Imagine your salary being made public to both your peers and to all employers. Imagine not getting your yearly raise or incentive because a rate card didn't have it. We are not going to build a rate card solution in MyGate. First of all, MyGate is very intrusive. It's the most shittiest piece of tech ever made. It's mandated by my community, by my flat, that I have to use MyGate. So them coming out and saying this, sure, it's good for the house helps, and the maids and nannies and all that, but they have a long way to go to get at least my respect. Pavan, what are your quick thoughts?
I feel this is a double-edged sword, okay. I also feel that there would be a lot of maids in a community who would be underpaid, who would not know like what other people are making, so on and so forth. So it's a good way to get everyone on the same page as well. Like a standardization of uh, like dignity of labor of sorts, or you pay them minimum this much in the community, so on and so forth also can be done. But I don't think so those concepts play out really well in Indian context. So it's better not to touch that.
Yeah, actually, the point that Pete mentioned, I fully agree. I so dislike MyGates app, and this is good for their PR and marketing POV. But I also hear, Pavan, what you are saying, right? About how do we ensure transparency and how do we prevent some of these house helps from harassment at workplace, right? Because it is so unformalized as a sector. Maybe there should be things around quality or a performance-based rate card. Other way, potentially, if you were to build something like this, you could say, okay, it depends on the size of the house, whether it's a 2 BHK, 3 BHK, 4 BHK, or if it's a nanny, depends on the number of hours and the number of children that a particular household has. Some of these metrics could still be a way of doing this if it was to be
Standardization
done.
is not even a hard problem. If they put
Yeah.
brains into it, they will solve it in 2 days. That's not even a
I
concern.
act,
What happens
yeah.
after that?
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
But what if they put a base rate card so that people know that you cannot go below this? Because I'll tell you what is happening with me, right? I stay in my apartment with a bunch of bachelors, my friends. Now the fee that I pay to my maid and my cook is much higher than an average than the family paying to them. Now, why? They know bachelors don't negotiate, they're not going to push back if we quote whatever pricing, etc. So sure, it puts me at a
Yeah.
disadvantage, but I also get the larger picture. While not the exact rate card or exact salary that they're making, a base level rate is completely fair in my opinion. And we see that in companies doing that as well, right?
So do let us know in the comments if there should be a rate card for your cook, maid, or nanny, and what are your thoughts on
Awesome. Let's move on to stock market or wife.
it?
Pawan's postponed his wedding by 2 years after saying this post, by the way.
Bro, please get married,
Yeah.
Pawan.
If a wife loses money in the stock market, the husband will have to pay for her losses. I'm not kidding, this is true. The Supreme Court passed a landmark judgment in the case of AC Choksi share broker versus Jatin Pratap Desai. Let me explain. Suppose a husband and wife have separate demat accounts in the same brokerage firm, and the husband is the one making trading decisions for his wife's account. For example, he calls the broker and buys and sells shares on her behalf, claiming that the account is also his. Now, when the wife incurred heavy losses of 1.18 crore, the broker called for margin. But the husband told him to ask his wife since the account was in her name. After a 25-year-long court case, the Supreme Court issued a landmark judgment. From now on, if a husband is operating his wife's trading account, he is liable for her stock market losses. Now share this reel with that one friend who trades using his wife's demat account and follows this.
So there are insane data and statistics around this whole as a problem. Okay, in last 2 years, the stock market penetration has increased, and one of the interesting trends in that increase of penetration is that women have started, or women-based accounts have come up. There are at least close to 30-40% of accounts that were newly opened, which were women-centric accounts. Now it feels like, oh great, female participation in investment is increasing, so blah blah and all. But there was an interesting post from Nitin Kamath like few years ago. Once they wanted to understand this, like why are people women, and how can women signing up on Zerodha and how we can make the platform better for them. They started calling people. They picked their phone and called these women, and every time they called, it was always the husband picking the call, and it was
Wow.
always the secondary account of that husband. Because of the limits, he would use the other account and start trading, or wanted to like take the tax benefit from another user's account, so on and so forth. So this is not a small problem. This has been one of the biggest problem from long time,
I
where
think one of
why
the other problems I also feel, I mean, sure, we can talk about the whole stock market and this problem. And the other problem is how can something like this be taken 25 years for it to arrive at judgment, right? They look at where even the markets were or the economy were or
That's a
people's
whole different
perspective
other
towards
question,
this.
Saksham. That's about our
Yeah,
legal
sure, but
system.
for
It's
me,
so
for me,
different.
that's also like that's something that I really dislike saying why how can something like this take 2.5 decades for it to get like one a conclusion. It maybe talks about some of the inefficiencies or complexities in the Indian judicial system.
then we have cases
When
like
I
India's Got Latent, which gets displayed in courts in one day or two.
Exactly, exactly, right?
Yeah, yeah, don't talk about that, dude. Very sensitive subject. Know how people are losing their minds over something very silly and something very basic, but sure. When I first saw this headline, I was like, hey, that's so random. But when you start reading about what actually happens, it's completely true, right? The
Yeah.
rule should be that nobody should be allowed to trade from somebody else's demat account. Wife, father, son, mother. I don't give a only that person whose the account's name is should be able to talk to the broker and essentially do any transactions. The fact that this is not happening, look, with digital apps, it's hard to control. When it's a broker, when you call and say because of voice, etc., you can somehow curd it. But with digital apps, I'm not sure how they're going to enforce this also.
No, there is a legal way of doing it as also. There is something called as a power of attorney. I can
Yeah.
literally give my power of attorney to anyone, like my husband, my wife, my children's, to anyone, so that they can trade on my behalf. This there is a legal way of doing it as also. But
Huh.
the thing is that in 2001, it was all phone calls made to book trades. That's where the diversity starts.
Which is also why my point around, the judgment being passed 25 years later doesn't make sense because the country, the world has changed so much in the last 25 years.
What if they put interest on that component, dude? In 25 years, it would have been compounded 100x.
Gen Z wants to save the planet, but Gen Z wants to save the planet, but also needs 10-minute delivery. This is a long post, so I'm going to skip. There is
Guilty.
a
All of us are guilty of this.
fast fashion is bad, but that Zara sale is giving. What they say, you need to shop responsibly and choose sustainable brands. What they do, shop 8 trendy pieces on sale because it's steal. Take away brands that balance affordability, trendiness, and sustainability. Okay, fine, whatever. But this is the TLDR. So is Gen Z the drama? Not really. They want to do better, but not if it's too expensive, inconvenient, or aesthetically unappealing. Let's see what product this lady sells. But Saksham, what are your quick thoughts on this?
Being a Gen Z, what are your thoughts?
I think it's very accurate. It's really come to a point personally wherein I stopped buying products from Amazon, Flipkart because they might take 1 or 2 days to deliver. I'd much rather go towards Blinkit or a Zepto saying, okay, it might be slightly cheaper, I might be slightly low quality, but it's coming to me in 10 minutes. Convenience is what matters the most. So while we can all keep talking about sustainability, etc., right? This is not the most sustainable way of doing it. Yeah, so I get the way this post is, and it's super relatable, it's super true. Yeah. Pete, Pawan, being the other Gen Z on this panel, what do you think?
I feel it's very subjective, dude. You can't put Gen Z as a category and
Yeah.
say that everyone is same. That's where I have like different opinions. I think so. It's very subjective. Few people in the millennial segment also might have these thoughts or habits.
No, no, absolutely. Absolutely. That goes
I
without
actually
saying.
I
think
don't think so.
these are very basic points, dude. Like all of
Yeah.
us want to, eat healthier food, protect the environment, etc., but not at a higher cost, right? I feel like this is a
As
very
well as
generic post.
suffering our convenience also. Everyone wants
Exactly.
convenience. Everyone wants faster delivery. Everyone wants better products. What's so unique about it? Everyone wants to live a healthy lifestyle. Everyone wants to do good for the planet. Everyone wants to reverse climate change. These are generic. I think so.
Yeah, that's
Bracketing Gen
what.
Z is just like
Yeah,
uh,
I get that. Yeah.
Marketing and digital transformation leader.
Pete. Learn
Pete's
from it, bro.
aspiration.
Anybody who calls themselves a digital transformation leader, I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously, dude. Others should say that about you. You're calling yourself that is just damn silly, right? Okay, let's move
Man.
on to how to go viral. So the ex-founder of Stoa, Raj Kolankar,
Please don't do
sorry, Raj.
that.
But he's built a tool which will help you guess whether your LinkedIn post will go viral or not. I've built a free tool to help you.
Let's put his post
In the
7.5,
tool.
is it? Pete, let's put one of your recent viral posts and see what this algo says.
Don't say recent viral post. I get one viral post once in 2 years. So let me talk about the recent
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Where is the viral? Yes.
Analyzing hook, readability, value, credibility,
Meanwhile, can we learn to
shareability.
say this guy's surname properly?
Kunkolyankar, I think.
Kunkulyanka.
Kunkalinker.
Oh
Oh my god.
my
Pete?
God. Pete,
I
that's
did.
horrendous, bro.
And you aim to be a CMO with this shit, man.
Digital transformation leader, by the way.
Oh God. Pete, you clearly need a lot of work, buddy.
Yeah, long way to go.
But on the
Yeah,
contrary, just go to Raj's original post.
just 2 lakh impressions. I'm sorry, guys, but
Yeah. Raj's original post only has like 200 likes, which is probably like 20,000 impressions. So it's very contradictory that a post which has actually gone viral is
uh,
less than a six, which actually is like a below average post. And his post, which is had like 1/10 the reach, is actually marketed better.
Guys,
Maybe the algo
well,
is written with the way he writes and
yeah.
not actually the way that's more mass appealing.
But the larger point over here is that no, everybody's trying to codify or give a scientific explanation to virality. And that's very hard to do because virality, first of all, depends on platforms, depends on a bunch of different factors that is always evolving, always changing, etc. So I don't think you can have a formula for anything to go viral.
there is one guy who has cracked it. That's Tanmay, but
He
Yeah.
started 10 years ago also, but yeah.
yeah, he consistently does that. I don't believe it. It depends on 100 metrics, so it's not. It's impossible kind. I think so.
Pawan,
There
you
is a
start a show, get banned, you get popular, and then you do
There was
a
another guy
resurrection.
too. There was another guy too, dude. His name was Samay Raina. Have you heard of him now? Zomato's foray into B2B SaaS. B2B SaaS is the shiz, guys. What
yeah.
is food delivery and all? But
Let's
Zomato
get into
recently launched Nugget, an AI native no code customer support platform that helps resolve 80% of queries autonomously, learns and adapts in real time, and requires zero code. Pavan, what are your quick thoughts?
I just think, will it be an AWS movement of Amazon to Zomato? This is how AWS was started. It was basically an internal project which was later separated as a side project, which went on to do more revenues than Amazon altogether at some point.
Yeah, but that
Uh,
was AWS, dude, not AI customer support agent, which
yeah,
like building an AWS is very unique. Only a few companies can even do that. Like I'm sure 500 startups in India can tomorrow launch an AI agent product for customer support, right? So I don't think that's true. But Saksham, do you want to give you a quick commentary over here?
I think very clearly with Nugget, Dipinder is trying to go after the Freshworks and Zoho, which is why he's also calling it as some of the legacy, essentially systems is what we are going to solve when it is zero code and all of that. So he's clearly entering that space, and I want to see how a Freshworks and a Zoho also sort of react to this, and if this really makes a difference to the way that some of these companies operate today and how they bring in more innovation in the AI space. And I'm essentially leveraging AI to bring more innovation, right? Because Nugget talks about automated quality audits, it talks about voice agents, it talks about AI powered image
yeah,
classification and
enough, bro,
intelligent
enough.
conversations, right? Which essentially is what a lot of these other CRMs have been doing for so long.
You sound like you are selling Nugget to us.
Well, I think it's a lot more broader than this, right? The reason why Zomato is doing this not because they see a huge market for customer support AI agents or anything like that. It is just that they have a bunch of smart people who are all itching to work on multiple projects, which could be or could not be related to their core business. Having this in-house incubation center just allows these bunch of smart people to keep experimenting and keep shipping out features that might not see light of day but just helps the company also be in tune with the latest trends, the latest developments, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Maybe this
sure.
was the reason behind doing it eternal also. Who knows? More
Okay,
wings.
this pay your delivery workers a living wage.
Oh God.
Real ID से अब कुणाल Kamra.
Bro,
Okay,
Kunal
guys.
Kamra must be so happy seeing this. Okay, let's move on.
Oh my god.
Let's move on to another scam, upgrade.
Ron's
Another
favorite
EdTech
segment.
scam. Who is surprised, no?
RSVP Productions.
Beware of upgrade, a personal experience. I like the thumbnail. Ronnie Screwwala's
Oh
I
God.
enrolled in upgrades course in 2023 with a total fee of 3.25 lakhs. I have paid all around 2 lakhs, but now due to upgrades failure to deliver promised support, I'm now demanding a refund. I'm not sure if this is a scam, but this can also be like a customer trying to file for a chargeback, right? Very similar to that.
Yeah, like if you look at the complaint also, right? It's about no guidance or like lack of support, false promises.
That's
So I don't want
always
to pay
subjective.
because it's very
Yeah.
subjective. Yeah, I fully agree.
No,
Like,
it's just the student has realized it late that learning it this way is not going to make him any better.
yeah, like he's not getting the
Simple as
value add
that.
for the course he's paying for, and now he's just trying to build a case to get his refund, which I mean, yeah,
Someone
whatever.
sold him really well. He got convinced that he'll someday get a 30 lakh LPA job as promised. He bought it. He got a loan for that. Now, like one thing that he needs to know that if he starts defaulting on that loan, right, upgrade is not going to lose anything. It's his CIBIL score and the bureau scores which are going to get impacted. And anyway, banks are going to take that money back from him.
Dude, but look, this is one person who I absolutely trust, Pradeep Punia.
Yeah,
He has been fighting this battle for almost a decade right now, obviously with
yeah.
Byju's and now with other, edtech companies. So if he's mentioning that he's received messages from numerous students facing similar issues, I completely trust his words, and this
Yeah.
might be larger than we actually anticipate.
I
Also, do
agree.
you also think, boys, that it is possibly because this sector has gotten so much flack in the last few years and probably a decade, and the trust on this whole edtech space is so low that every time something like this come up, it's also just boils up and becomes huge.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't disagree with you at all.
see, the thing is, it goes back to the notion that India always wants education to be free, but the startup entire thing, the funding that they have raised, does not allow them to do that. So finding a middle ground is very hard. Uh, and
Hmm.
and India as a country, right, is always ready to spend on education. India thinks education is the only way to get a better life, because the larger amount of public is aspirational class, and they know that the only way they can get better or reach the top is by education. So they take loan, they spend, they borrow money, they do everything to pay for education, and these
Yeah, which is
startups have
also
understood
true
that.
in some sense, right? I mean, education is
Yeah,
extremely important for you to give avenues to just know and give you so much perspective and about what's happening in the world.
but it's important for students also to understand that education in this digital era is not expensive. You will have the same content available on YouTube. You'll have to put little more effort. You'll have to
Yeah.
find it. You'll have to understand more. You have to go to that edge. It's not parents' responsibility to do that. It's the students' responsibility to do that. To figure out like how can I know the same stuff easily in a free way.
Not necessarily also, right? Pawan, as children, you also don't have so much conscience to know some of these things, right? Which is
Now
where
children
the
can swipe Instagram, they can make reels, they can
sure.
dance on TikTok, they can learn editing, they can do everything. You're saying they can't learn where to get the free resources.
It
There's a
almost
great
sounds like
confusion.
Pawan, you are sad on missing the bus of dancing on TikTok, huh?
Why do you hold that against me?
I miss TikTok.
Okay, I think that's it from this week's edition of the Indian Startup Desktop. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so below. See you next week.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.